Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, we have another pick a card reading, and this is for the week ahead for January 6th until the 13th. All right, so we're going to take a look as to what this week has in store for us. And we have three piles to choose from. We have pile number 1 with some snowflake obsidian, which looks like this. I don't know if we can really see. Oh, there we go. So pretty. And then we have pile number 2 with some tiger's eye. Okay. And then pile number 3 with some unakite. It's a really pretty green and orange stone. All right. So go ahead and take a moment to choose which pile you are most drawn to. If you need to, you can pause the video and you can meditate on which pile is speaking to you the most. Again, you do not have to just choose one pile. If you are being called to 2 or all 3, there might be messages in there for you, which is the reason why you are being called to all 3 or 2, but it is completely up to you. Again, I find what works best for me personally whenever I do pick a card readings is I do take a moment and go with my gut instinct. I am a little bit more visual, so usually the visual cues help me out. So for those of you who are, you're more than welcome to pick based off the crystals. For those of you who aren't and you prefer to just go off of like meditation, you're more than welcome to do so. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and jump right into pile number 1, and I'm going to go ahead and move these guys off to the side, and then we can start with pile 1 with the snowflake obsidian. Okay, all right. So we're going to take a look at your tarot cards first. We're going to do a week at a glance to see what we have in store, and then we will go into your oracle cards. So we have the 2 of Swords in reverse, the King of Swords in reverse, the 7 of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, and the Death card. All right, I'm going to make some room for all of these. All right, so group 1. So it looks like we're going to go with this as though this is the beginning, middle, and end of the month, okay, or end of the week. Sorry, I said month. So I'm going to start with the 2 of Swords. So with the 2 of Swords being in reverse, this might be a time where in the beginning of the week, you probably might feel a little helpless about a situation or helpless about maybe making some sort of change. So whether there are old habits or old patterns in which maybe with the whole New Year's resolution coming about, that's kind of what popped into my head just now, with the new year, all of us are trying to maybe like eat healthier, work out more, all those kinds of things. So if that is something that you are trying to work on, you can possibly feel a little helpless at this point because it's technically, the first full week of January. And so you're really going to have to like be committed. And if you've already started doing it, just over the past few days, it can take some time and it can be difficult, to jump right into this new change. Okay. Now, if this doesn't apply to you in that sense, like, if you aren't really one to, or in need of changing like your eating habits or things of that nature, this can also talk about being at odds with somebody, and perhaps, in your relationship with this person, it doesn't have to be like a love relationship, but it can also be a friendship where perhaps you guys are just, somebody's like, I would say on their end, they're unwilling to admit maybe the truth about something. They're kind of keeping things maybe to themselves or not being as upfront as they should be. And it's only just making the situation worse. And that can indicate, that sense of helplessness that you may be feeling in the at the beginning. So I would say just kind of be cautious in the beginning of the week of possible lying, deceit. That would be something I would just kind of be on the side of caution for starting off. Okay. Then we have the King of Swords in reverse. And talks about like the negative qualities of an air sign. So in this situation, you could be dealing with a Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. Okay. And there could be, possible gossip or something going on. Perhaps, this person or this air sign that you're dealing with, maybe they're pinning others against you. And maybe that's why you feel kind of helpless at the beginning of the week, because you're dealing with this person and they're not maybe talking to you directly. They're talking to others instead, maybe about you. And yeah, you can feel a little helpless and just like, you don't really know what to do. So, it's just an uncomfortable situation, I would say, in the beginning of the week. Okay. And if this person is talking about you to others, perhaps, those others are also being negative toward you. So what I would recommend for the beginning of the week for you guys, if you find yourself in this current situation, to kind of keep things to yourself, whatever it is that you're going through, just kind of keep it to yourself. Don't confide in those types of people, especially if you know that they're unsympathetic, or like if they're not maybe have your best interests at heart. I would just kind of focus on you during this time, like during this week, just kind of, keep your nose to the ground and, focus on what it is that you need to do on your work, your relationship with yourself, all of that. So that way you don't get bogged down with this negativity. Okay. In the middle of the week, we have the 7 of Pentacles, and this talks about you putting in the time and effort, but that it's paying off. So this can indicate like your hard work. Maybe you've been working really hard at your job recently, and you're starting to, reap those benefits, that's owed to you. If we're still staying with the relationship aspect, this can talk about, maybe the hard work that you've been putting into this whole situation is finally going to pay off, and you are going to get that what's owed to you, whatever, maybe that apology that needs to come your way. But if we're talking about a work aspect, which typically the 7 of Pentacles can indicate. If we're talking about that to me can tell me that possible, maybe a raise is coming about for you guys this week. Or if you guys are just coming back to work after, being off. I know some of you guys, including myself, if you work for a school system where you've been out the past couple weeks and you're just going back to work, perhaps you have a promotion or something waiting for you when you come back. Okay. And with the 3 of Cups here right next to it, that tells me it's a time for a celebration. So some good news is going to come midweek for you guys, and it's going to be because of the work that you've put into it. Okay. The 3 of Cups is all about celebrating your success. Okay. It's all about positive growth, and, it's a time for you to be proud of yourself and be happy for what you've accomplished, okay, for all of your hard work. All right. And then we have the Death card. Now, the Death card doesn't actually mean death, or it doesn't always necessarily mean that, but what it can typically mean, and especially in this spread from what I'm seeing, is that it's the end of a cycle. So from the start of the week, it looks like it was a little bit rough. And like I was saying, if you feel helpless, or it's time for a change, maybe you need to cut this negative person out or whatever it is, by the end of the week, those necessary changes are going to come about. It's going to be out with the old, in with the new. Okay. You no longer have to hold on to whatever was, making you feel less than or drowning you. You're able to now move forward and grow from that. Okay. So it looks like group 1, like you guys obviously start off, I think, a little rocky. There's a little uncertainty there, but by the midweek, things start to pick up, which is really nice. And then by the end of the week, we see some transformation here, and it's definitely for the best. Okay. So let's take a look at what your oracle cards have to say. So we have the first oracle card we have is Shapeshifter. Okay. So for Shapeshifter, This is about being able to adapt, being able to be flexible within your current situation. I think of with this change over here from the death card, to me, this talks about being able to let go and move forward, right? And you finding a way to find what suits you best, being able to adapt. I just think of adaptation when I think of like a shapeshifter. You're adapting to your situation. You're not allowing your situation to define you. You're evolving from it. Okay. So to me, I think this is definitely a good indicator that you guys are going to be able to reap the benefits from your previous situation. Okay. Then we have woman holding a coin. So the overall energy for the week. Okay. Now, if you are a woman watching this, what this can indicate is that perhaps health in business is going to be in your favor this week, which kind of what I'm seeing here with the celebration, with the Seven of Pentacles, you reaping the benefits of your hard work. Woman holding a coin. So like I said earlier, perhaps there's a promotion, maybe you get a bonus or a raise, something of that, or the latter for those of you who are women watching this, that could indicate for you. If you're not a woman or if you're not a female watching this, this can indicate that perhaps a woman is going to have good news to share with you or tell you like she's coming into your life, to bring good fortune, so be on the lookout for that basically, whether you are a woman watching this or if you're a male watching this, somehow or some way, a female is going to play a role in this week in giving you some good fortune or some good news of success. Okay. And then the last we have deception. Someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. Yeah. So over here, this is definitely where I see this playing a role. So like we talked about in the beginning of the week for you guys, be cautious of this air sign, this Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius. It may not necessarily be an actual, person that has, that is an air sign, that may have them in their chart, an air quality in their chart. But I would say be cautious of this because like we talked about earlier, with you feeling kind of helpless and, me mentioning that, just to be cautious of anybody who's lying or deceitful. Yeah, deception. So I would say, focus on you. Like I mentioned earlier, focus on yourself, on your work. Don't allow this person or any gossip or things to cloud you or to kind of take the forefront of your mind. Because ultimately, yeah, someone is being pretty fake, I would say. They're not being their true authentic self. They are kind of hiding behind, some mask basically and deceiving you in some way. So definitely be cautious of that. Okay. But overall, it looks like you guys, for the remainder of the week, you definitely have a good turnout. Like I said, from midweek on, things look like they're moving and progressing forward in a positive way for you guys. To me, it seems like a lot of growth, which is good. You want to start off the year with that positivity, with that growing aspect within yourself. You don't want to hang on to any negative qualities or anything that holds you back. You want to be able to move forward. And if anything, I definitely see that for you guys. So, hopefully this resonated. I would love to hear, if you guys watch this today or tomorrow, I would love to hear your feedback at the end of the week to see if this did work out for you guys, or, if any of this over here at the beginning of the week resonated with you. I would just love to hear that just so that I get some feedback from you guys, and hopefully this made sense, and that it was helpful. So, all right, so we're going to go ahead and clean this up and we're going to move on to our next group. All right. So group 2, we have the tiger's eye. Move that guy off to the side. And group 2, just like with the previous group, we're going to go ahead and start with your tarot cards, and then we will go through your oracle cards. So here we go. All right. So we have the 8 of Cups, the Star card, the Tower, the Wheel of Fortune in reverse, and the 2 of Cups in reverse. Very interesting, group 2. All right. So like I did with the previous group, group 2, we're going to go ahead and start with the 8 of Cups, and we're going to work our way down. I'm going to take this as this is the beginning of the week, middle of the week, and end of the week for you guys, okay? So at the beginning of the week, we have the 8 of Cups, and this is talking about possibly in the beginning of the week for some of you guys, it looks like you're wishing for things, to be a little bit different. I see a lot of wish going on, a lot of wishing and hope, especially with the Star card right next to it too. The Star card is like a hope card. At least that's what it, can be indicated as. And so this is telling me that at the beginning of the week, it seems like there's a situation in which that you are in that you realize that perhaps you need to let go of. Perhaps you've tried in every aspect that you could have, and in this case, I'm thinking of a relationship. Now, again, it doesn't have to be like a love relationship. It can be like a friendship, but take it as you will, however that resonates. But whatever relationship that is currently going on for you guys right now, it seems like, you've put in so much effort and so much time into it that it's just still not working the way that you were hoping that it would. Okay. Something is just, you just know in your gut that it's just not right, and that it's time to cut your losses. All right. Like I said, this can refer to the relationship, a possible love relationship where you feel like you've done all that you can, but it's time to let go and move on. All right. With the Star card, now, like I said earlier, this is all about like hope. And I think you're hoping that by letting go of this situation or of this connection, that you'll feel better about it, that because you knew that you did all that you could by letting go of this situation or this relationship, on the inside that you will feel a lot better for it, that, you'll kind of maybe regain your self-confidence. You want to have faith that everything works out as it's meant to, basically just indicating that you want to believe that everything happens for a reason, and you're going to trust that it does because you've done all that you can. You don't really know what else you can do at this point because you maybe have exhausted all of your resources. And at this point in time, that's all that you can do, So I'm definitely seeing you guys having to deal with this for sure at the beginning of the week. Now with the Tower, anytime the Tower comes up, I feel like everyone maybe gets a little bit nervous or a little scared because the Tower seems so catastrophic. It seems just so like detrimental, right? But I think in this situation, what it's talking about is getting rid of those old habits or patterns that need to be getting rid of, okay? So like with the 8 of Cups, you coming to that realization that I need to cut my losses. This just isn't working out for me the way that I thought it would or the way that I hoped that it would. Having the Tower here in the middle of the week, I think is that validation that what you've been thinking this week, with you maybe contemplating of like, should I let it go or should I stay? I think you'll come to that realization or that reassurance that, yeah, I'm making the right choice and that, this does need to happen. It's a necessary loss for the better, basically. Okay. Then towards the end of the week, we have the Wheel of Fortune and we have the Two of Cups. So the Wheel of Fortune is, and when it's in the reverse, it's talking about perhaps you guys feeling like what changes you need to make. And I think in this situation, to like cut your loss, let it go. But there's I don't want to say refusal, but that there's like a like a hesitation, I guess, for you guys, for some of you, to do so. That, you're thinking about what it is that you want, and you're thinking about the possibility of what it'll be like once you actually do cut your ties. But you're delaying yourself. You're kind of standing in your own way, so to speak, without letting this actually occur. And it could be because of fear. Honestly, change can be fearful, any type of change, especially if it's something that you've put in so much time and effort in. That can be very scary for a lot of people. I know I'm one of them. Like, I have a really hard time with change just in general. Like, doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Like, it's hard for me to adjust. I'm a creature of habit. So, if change comes about, and especially if it's a sudden or one that I know I need to do, I can sometimes delay it, and it's almost like without even thinking. It's just like I just do it. And it's almost like you start to make excuses for yourself on why you haven't made the necessary change yet, or why you haven't taken those necessary steps for the better. Okay. So for instance, I think of like with getting healthier, or like working out more, eating better, those things that come into play. You should, but you don't, so hopefully that kind of makes sense for you guys, like when I'm trying to explain like how that feeling can be with this Wheel of Fortune here in reverse. Now, the Two of Cups is, again, talks about a delay in your harmony, a delay, in your balance, so to speak. So once you're able to make the necessary movement that you need, you will be able to restore that balance within your situation. And in this case, I think within yourself. So if you are able to, by the end of the week, come to this realization that this is the right thing to do and things will work out for you, because, if you believe that this is meant to be and that this is the way that it's supposed to be because you've exhausted all of your resources, then you can be able to, I think, accept and let it go for good. All right. So it looks like at the end of the week, it's definitely going to be delayed a little bit. I don't think this is something that's necessary you guys are going to be able to do in completely 1 week. Because I think for some of you guys, for sure, there is going to be that hesitation. All right. So let's see what your oracle cards have to say in this situation. So we have your overall energy for the week. Angel of Strength. Yeah. I think you guys, for sure, for this week, your strength is going to be tested, in the sense that, do you have the inner strength to cut your ties, to move on? Like I said, we have that, hesitation within ourselves, and that's oftentimes what holds us back from, taking the necessary actions. So having the angel's strength brought up into this, I think, is a good reminder that you are strong, that you are capable of doing what you know is right for you. Okay. You just have to believe in yourself that you are capable of moving forward, perhaps without this person. Okay. All right. So our next two oracle cards, we have Servant and Guide. Very interesting. So I feel like in this case, with the Guide card coming up, I feel like this is a way or a reminder for you to look for a way to guide yourself through this week. Having the strength to guide you, to be able to find a way to nurture yourself and, basically trusting yourself that you can navigate through this. You can come out on the other side, you know, without allowing this to consume you, without, you know, going into depression or anything of that nature. I think you guys are pretty well aware that, you know, this is what it is and you have to move on from this situation. You've done everything you can. There should be no reason for you to allow yourself to contemplate, oh, if I had done this, I had done that. No, because you did. Okay. So I think that's why, you know, with the guide card coming into play, it's just like a good reminder that you need to be able to navigate through this. All right. Then we have the servant card. And in this case, I feel like perhaps you have been a servant to others, but just not to your own self. And what I mean by that is if you have been putting so much time and effort into this relationship or this situation where you've exhausted all of your possibilities, sometimes we lose sight of being able to take care of ourselves, and you know, you lose focus of your own values, right? Because you're so willing to cater to others because you're trying to fix the situation. So with having the servant card in this, I think it's a good reminder that you don't want to lose sight of yourself through all of this, that you need to be able to change that. So then that way you can let go of all of this. Okay. All right. So your last oracle card we have is the Romance Angels Oracle, and we have trust. This situation is calling for you to have faith. So yeah, I definitely agree. You know, it's definitely, I think, a difficult situation, but it's not as bad as I think it could be, just because of the fact that you guys have done everything that you can. All right. And oftentimes it is really hard for us to see, you know, the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, just because you've been so immersed in putting your whole effort into this and trying to fix it, so to speak. But you know, I think on the inside that you've done all that you can, like I said, and now you need to trust within yourself that it's time to move on and you will be able to be happy again, that everything will be able to work itself out. All right. So group 2, I hope that was helpful for you guys. Please let me know in the comment section down below if any of this resonated with you. I would love to hear how exactly it did, or if you have any input that you want to share as to, like, you know, what exactly, you know, stuck out to you the most. I would definitely love to hear that. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up. We're going to go ahead and move on to our final group. So group 3. All right, so we have group 3 with the Untitled. All right, move that guy off to the side. And group 3, I'm going to go ahead and start with your tarot cards, and then we'll go into your oracle cards. So you guys, we have the 6 of Cups in reverse, the Lovers in reverse, the 6 of Wands in reverse. Just realized you guys have got a lot of 6s. The Hierophant, or Hierophant. The 6 of Pentacles. So like I said, lots of 6s. And the 5 of Cups in reverse. So you guys have 5s and 6s. Very interesting. If you guys are into numerology, I would love to hear what that means, because I'm not as into it, so I don't know it, so I can't really comment what that significance actually is, but I would so love to hear that. So if you guys are able to share that, please do so in the comment section down below. I would love to hear what else this can add to this reading. That would actually be really cool. All right, so so group number 3. So as I did with the other groups, what I did is I actually started with the first tarot deck. I kind of went in this order. So this is more so like the beginning of the week, the middle of the week, and the end of the week. So you guys actually have 2 cards for each, which I think is pretty cool. So we're definitely going to be able to kind of dive, I think, a little deep into what those mean and how they actually like resonate in this situation. So that'll be pretty interesting to see. Okay. So let's kind of start off with the beginning of the week, obviously. So we have the 6 of Cups, and then 6 of Cups and the Lover's card. So at the beginning of the week with the 6 of Cups, this is talking about you maybe making necessary changes for yourself to feel a little bit more secure. One of the other groups actually we had talked about like change, and it reminded me of like a New Year's resolution, like this being the time where everybody's all about change, right? Because it's the new year, new me, all of that kind of stuff. So I feel like during this time, it's about you. Okay, like you're wanting to make changes for yourself for the better. So you trying to maybe meet up with old friends, like to reconnect. It's all about reconnection. The 6 of Cups talks about like nostalgia, past, and when it's in the reverse position, it's talking about doing things like those reconnections, but like possibly with people from your past, or even making like new friends or new acquaintances, meeting new people. Maybe that's something part of your New Year's resolution that you really want to do, is to go out and meet new people. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing with the 6 of Cups. Excuse me. With the Lover's card, this is talking about making connections within yourself. So it's all about changes, connections, things of that nature at the beginning of the week. So perhaps with making those connections, it can be that you come to the realization that you are able to do or to be 2 things, instead of you just isolating yourself into one criteria, so to speak, or like saying like, oh, I'm just, a brainy person. I can't be beautiful and brainy. Well, actually, no, you can't. Like, you can be beautiful. You can still have smarts to you. Just like you can also be strong and gentle at the same time. Like 2 opposites can still signify you, if that makes sense. So it's just kind of coming to those ideologies and understanding those connections about yourself, and realizing that you are more than what you maybe label yourself as. Okay. This can also talk about you trying to maybe force cooperation among like incompatible elements. So that can mean like if you're trying to force a situation that maybe isn't really working because it's just so polar opposite, be cautious of that. Okay. And this, what I'm thinking, what if, like we talked about with the 6 of Cups, if you're trying to reestablish those connections with old friends, but you also want to meet new friends, so maybe you're trying to like force everyone to be together. Like, oh, I want to bring my old friends and my new friends out. Sometimes that's really great. Other times that's not, just depending on people's, different personality types and who they get along with and stuff like that. So, that's what I'm seeing like with these 2, that perhaps you guys are just all about those connections, at the start of the week. Okay. Then we have the middle of the week. We have the 6 of Wands and the Hierophant. So the 6 of Wands is talking about some type of delay that you have no control over. What I mean by that is that perhaps like what you've been hoping for, what you've been wishing for, is not coming to fruition at this time. And it's due to situations that are completely out of your control, that, and you're upset, you guys could possibly be just like really angry or feel frustrated that things just aren't working out the way that you want them to. Okay. Now, if this is talking about, like we talked about earlier, you trying to, merge things together that aren't necessarily compatible, like thinking like friends, like you want everybody to get along, but they don't necessarily vibe, there could be that frustration that you feel midweek because of that. Okay, that's just an example. I'm not saying that that's going to be for every one of you guys, but I'm just giving that as an example with that. Okay. The Hierophant talks about you guys coming to or being able to try to choose your own road or solution. And this can also indicate perhaps like you choosing a new spiritual path or a new philosophy that you want to take on. Maybe that's part of your guys's like new year resolution, is that you really want to get back into religion, or you really want to get become more spiritual again. And I feel like maybe there's just some sort of delay, coming about because either you don't know which route you necessarily want to go, or, you know, maybe religion has kind of put you off in the past. And so the fact that you would have to follow these ideologies, these rules, or whatever it may be, maybe that's kind of putting you off a little bit. So, but I'm definitely seeing the fact that you guys are for some of you, for the middle of the week, this can be something that comes about. There's definitely going to be some type of delays. Again, like I said, you don't necessarily have the control over, but that you want to do whatever it takes to set it right. Okay. And with the Hierophant, to me, that's telling me that you guys could be trying to choose your own, trying to choose your own road for a solution for this situation. Okay. But again, because we do have the Hierophant, that is a major indicator of philosophy or religion or spiritual development. Okay. So I did want to put that out there just in case some of you guys have been perhaps contemplating, starting to become more spiritual. I definitely did want to recognize that, because I don't want that to, go to the forefront or not be included. So, all right, then we have the end of the week. We have the 6 of Pentacles and the 5 of Cups. So the 6 of Pentacles talks about, perhaps this being a time for you to kind of recoup after a period of loss. And this could also be like a financial loss. So now that we're at the beginning of January, December, sometimes can be like a hard hit on our finances because of like the holidays and things of that nature. So for some of you guys, at the end of the week, you're probably still trying to get your finances back in order. Things have kind of been out of sorts. So at the end of the week, you're really trying to get your bills in line, trying to get everything back on track. And perhaps there's others that you're wanting to help out, but you don't have the means to do so right now. I feel like for some of you guys, you are by nature very giving and very generous. And I think it kind of hurts you on some level that you're incapable of doing that right now. And that's just because it's out of your hands. Like, again, like I talked about earlier with this situation being out of your hands, and you being frustrated, perhaps this can indicate because of finances that just money has been really tight, and it's just, you kind of have to wait until things get back on track. So it's causing this delay or whatnot, right? And then we have with the 5 of Cups, this is like a state of, like a negative state of mind due to past losses. So again, I'm thinking because of the fact that perhaps some of you guys have been hit hard financially, it sucks. Like, I totally understand, like the not having the money that you've worked so hard for, and, you kind of having to wait for you to get caught up. It can be, nerve-wracking, and it can be frustrating for sure. But don't allow this negative mindset to consume you, because it's very easily, or it can very easily, take over. So what I would suggest to you guys with the fact that we have this here at the end of the week is to not allow yourself to stay in this mindset. It's just going to make things worse, if anything. Yes, I think midweek you're definitely going to be frustrated and all that, but let it go midweek. Don't allow this to continue to consume you by the end of the week, okay? I would definitely say that as a word of caution for you guys, if that is what you're finding is becoming difficult for some of you, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at your oracle cards that we have. You guys have two, actually we're going to look at the energy for the overall energy of the week. So you guys have the Thinking Man in reverse. So the thinking man is all about, somebody possibly not having your best interest at heart. And it could be a male in authority. So for some of you guys, this would be something I would maybe take into consideration just throughout the week, just on a side of caution. But this can also talk about, learning and growth that is needed, but you not taking the proper action for it. So break through those barriers and move forward is ultimately what this card indicates, okay? There's just kind of like that blockage or that hesitation. And I think that's what we're seeing over here, with that mindset, and perhaps due to finances and things just not really going the way that you've been wanting them to, you kind of feel stuck. So don't allow yourself to stay within that mindset. I know it's hard, for some of you, especially if that's just so on your mind and it's so on the forefront of you constantly thinking about it. I take these as signs of caution. So remember, your week hasn't been written. It's not set in stone. You guys are fully capable of changing anything that you don't like in this spread. So take these as signs or as messages. So then that way this doesn't become your outcome where it consumes you and, all this negativity is just what waits you at the end. I strongly suggest you take it as a sign of caution. All right. So your next two oracle cards that we have, you have Angel and Seeker. All right. So group 3, I'm seeing that you're definitely seeking some stability here, for sure. Like, I think because we had at the beginning of the week, you're trying to feel more secure, and perhaps you're trying to be more financially secure. I know I kind of talked about, with you trying to reconnect with friends or, making those connections or whatnot, but perhaps you can, there's part of you that feels unsecure because of the fact that your finances have been so out of whack lately. So you're trying to seek that stability again. And the fact that you have the Angel card too tells me that you guys, I think, are givers, in the sense that I think you are always looking to help others, and you have a very nurturing character. So like with the 6 of Pentacles here, the fact that maybe you're not able to help those around you that you wish that you could, but you financially can't. That's what frustrates you, like the middle of the week, the fact that you're unable to do what you naturally feel inclined to do, if that makes sense, okay? So definitely keep that in mind. And then your last two oracle cards, we have the Romance Angel cards. We have Give Your Relationship a Chance, Work on Your Partnership, okay? And then Getting to Know Each Other. As you reveal your innermost selves to each other, your bond deepens. All right. So for you guys, I think like this can apply to definitely your overall love relationships and even friendships. So making sure that you give, your relationship a chance this week, making those reconnections again, getting to know each other. If you're trying to meet new people, make new friends, or maybe a new relationship, definitely give yourself the time to get to know one another is definitely what's going to come about for you guys this week. All right. So group 3, I hope that resonated with you. I'm so sorry if that seemed long or kind of harsh on like the end front, but like I said earlier, please don't allow this to be the end all be all. Like if anything, nothing is set in stone. You guys have full control of your lives and your overall destiny. So, just look at these as just possible, as a possibility for how your week could go if you allow the situations to consume you. Okay. So I hope that resonated with you guys. I hope that made sense. Please let me know in the comment section down below how this did, and if any of it did make sense to you. I would love to hear your guys' feedback. If you are not already subscribed, please go ahead and do so and click the like button if you liked and enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing you guys again real soon. I will have another video posted hopefully either tomorrow or Tuesday. But until then, I hope you guys have a wonderful and fabulous week, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.